Had the opportunity to speak with a friend today, and there are a couple of takeaways that I want to share. But I want to start off with talking about Marcus Aurelius and what I think are now called his meditations, but the term that I first learned of the book, I believe, was Lamentations, which again has a different connotation. But what he says is that the error is not to make a mistake. The error is to remain and not in that mistake and to not learn from that mistake. And so often in so many things that I have said or I've tried to do, I've literally tried to help people learn from their mistakes, because that's been a glorious and beautiful blessing in my life, to have been able to have learned from my mistakes. That's literally how I have survived. And at this point in time, humanity is at a place of questionable survival. And so there's a correlation between then and now. The second thing, so that was the first thing, the error is not to make the mistake, but to remain in error and not learn from the mistake. Not grow our awareness, grow our compassion for ourselves, and grow our understanding of others. Next, number 2. I was 6 months old when I first started learning about what whiteness, not white people, but what whiteness is capable of doing to another person. Or at least that is the primary lens through which I am now able to look through these things, because 6 months old is when I was adopted into Wayzata, Minnesota, and then we moved further west to Long Lake. I have seen such ruthlessness, such remorselessness, such shamelessness in being able to take everything away from a person. And I survived. I have survived to be able to speak my own words, no one else's, and I'm able to speak them calmly and compassionately for myself, out of respect for my own story, out of respect for the stories that allowed my story to be, the stories of my ancestors, out of respect for the story of my mother and father, the story of my grandfathers and my grandmothers. That is a blessing. And so number 3, what that leads to is whiteness having to sincerely confront the idea of an other that is complete, complex, and beautiful all unto itself. Whiteness is having to grasp with that possibility as well, because it is. And we are, and we have always been, of equal status and value. But there is a price for us daring to be. I am thankful for each and every day. I give thanks to the Mother. La Madre Tierra. ¿Sí o no? For the opportunity, and I am trying to learn. But I understand that since the age of 6 months, I was meant to be the brown version of that black Nazi. I was supposed to be. I was told in high school, I am an example that race doesn't matter. Now we can take that a great many different perspectives. Does race matter? Can I be a human being too? The tragedy of me having to even ask that question, and the tragedy of the response so often being, yes, you can be a human, but this, that, and the other. And it's scary. It's very, very scary. Because there is no safe place. I'm not going to go too much further down that road, because that's a much more complex conversation than we're going to have right now. But nonetheless, we got 3+ things, eh? Bien okay. Vamos pues.